You guys. All right, so I just did a live stream on this one on Facebook about how triggering this one is. I'm not going to cover the whole thing. It's an hour long. It's an hour long. I'm almost at the end of it at this point, but I was talking about how over the last 3 years during the pandemic, there was a family in my community who were really acting out during the pandemic, and it was more than just being QAnoners, being Trump supporters. It was more than that. There appeared to be, and I've said this multiple times in various videos, and I have 4 police reports, you guys. It appeared that this particular family had some sort of potentially sexual molestation going on in their family, because their kids were acting out immediately at the beginning of the pandemic. They were taking the razor scooters and trying to chop up our sprinkler lines across from my balcony. They have been trying to break into the pool. They've done damage to the gates. There was a situation in which they've spent a year and a half now repairing it, where the female restroom at the pool was spray painted up. And so we've had some very bizarre activity. I've seen big dudes who clearly are going to the pool and getting drunk, throwing little girls 6 to 7 feet in the air to throw them into a 5-foot deep pool, right? I have reported it to the Orange County Sheriff on multiple occasions, and they don't give a fucking shit. And now I'm watching this for the first time because I never watched this reality show. So, Josh Duggar is the, I think, eldest son of a reality show family. And it came out that he was molesting his sisters. It's a similar situation. Very large family. They were renting 2 units here in my complex. Apparently they've moved at this point, but they've left some friends behind who apparently were on board with their bullshit. And to my mind, this looks very similar, what is happening, because the little girls were acting, the things that they were saying, daddy, 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 daddy. There was some weird ass shit happening in my neighborhood, and we still have a few families who were friends with them who have been left behind, who have been doing things like peeling stickers off my car. There's some bizarre shit happening in my neighborhood. And while I'm watching this, I'm like, yeah, I see some parallels. I see some parallels. Okay, so we're not going to do the whole video. I will drop the link for you. We're just going to watch some of it.
200-2681.
Okay. And you said AT&T on another one, or?
Oh, I don't have any. I used to, but AT&T is.
So heads up, the cops are there because they made a digital signature with him that he was looking at child porn on the deep web. That's why they're interviewing him right now.
I know there's, and then Sprint, we can't really get any signal here for them.
Okay. How long have you had Verizon?
I don't know. I don't recall.
How about in your residence? Electronics there?
But electronics, what do you mean by that?
Like computers, phones, other phones, anything like that?
By the way, like, he's acting ignorant right now, and the dude just told him, he literally just told the police that he configured his own routers. Like, he's not fucking unintelligent when it comes to technology, and he's like, I don't know, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I mean, my wife has a phone, but not anything more that I possess. I mean, I have in the past, and I've recently upgraded my phone. So, I mean, as far as that goes, I don't want to.
All right. Email? You got email accounts?
Yes.
What would that be?
So my email is joshuaduggar@icloud.com. That's my full name.
Sir, if you don't mind, we'll go back real quick to those electronics. I know Agent Court mentioned in your home residence, but for the reason of why we're here today, what are we talking about electronics on scene?
Okay.
So you have your cell phone, right?
Got my cell phone, and then there's a laptop in that RV over there.
Okay, now let's do one by one. The phone, that was one that you had in your pocket, right?
Right, in my pocket.
Who else has access to that phone?
I love, hold on.
Well, depending on who.
I love how this second cop totally takes control. Like, he immediately, like, just through the sound of his voice, was able to completely take control of the conversation. He's like, look, you're gonna fucking give me some goddamn answers, bitch. Let's go.
I mean, sometimes I have a guy that works with me. He'll take pictures, sometimes with the phone.
So outside of you, other people will possibly have. Is it password protected?
Yeah, it's not very secure. I mean, everybody knows it.
Okay.
My kids use it quite a bit. My wife, mostly family and friends.
Is it
It's
a
not like I
swipe
would hand it around.
passcode or is it a PIN numeric?
It's a PIN.
What's the PIN number for it?
Am I required to give that to you?
You're not.
Okay, I'd rather not.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get
You will be, bitch. They're gonna get a warrant. Let's go.
a little bit more into the forensic side of stuff.
No, that's fine.
You said a laptop. That's the one in the RV, right?
Yes.
So
It is password protected as well.
Is that yours?
Yes.
Who else would have access to that?
Same kind of deal. We use it for kids watching movies, browsing online, whatever.
Okay.
It doesn't get used all that much.
But it is password protected?
Yes.
Just one password or multiple?
Well, so it's password protected in the fact that if you log in, I think it'll automatically log you in. But if you're, if you go to, it sits idle, it'll lock up sometimes. I don't know exactly how I have it set.
But in terms of ownership, that is your laptop, and in terms of the phone, that is your phone.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
We noticed inside of the whatever, I don't know which one is your office, but the one over here that has the open sign, that there was another computer in there.
Yes, that's an HP. That computer is it's now password protected, but pretty much the guys that work here are the ones that use it.
Okay.
And so there's different.
So there's currently a password on it right now?
Yes, there is. Yeah, and the password's written. I mean, I have it written around so the guys know. So it's not like, it's just mainly to keep somebody from breaking in and accessing.
He knows what's up. He knows what's up, and he's like, oh, everybody had access to my password, so therefore, you can't, assume I was the dude looking at child porn, right? It could have been anybody, despite the fact that I fucking have a history of being accused of the shit, right? So this dude has been accused of molesting his sisters. He's already been accused of all of this stuff, and he's trying to be like, oh yeah, my work colleagues probably did this bullshit, right?
File.
Oh, no, I understand. Right.
Whatever.
And so, computer in the office, laptop in the RV, your cell phone, and then your coworker's cell phone.
Yeah, and then there's also, they reminded me, there's a hard drive probably in the security system, which is up above.
Oh, for your surveillance?
Right, for surveillance
But
system.
you only use that to recover?
It's not active right now. I didn't tell anybody else that, but I'm just saying.
Well, I promise. We don't plan on breaking it.
No,
So
I'm just saying it's,
we won't give up your secret. How long?
Building rapport, you guys. Building rapport. Oh, you don't have that one turned on.
For your cell phone, how long have you had that?
I bought it probably a week after it came out, the iPhone 11.
So guessing, I don't need an exact day.
2 months, maybe.
2 months
3
ago?
months. Yeah, 2 or 3 months.
All right. What about that laptop?
The laptop I've had for probably 5 years.
5 years, and that's the one that's in the RV?
Yes.
All right. What about the desktop that's in there?
The desktop,
HP.
I think I've had that for 2.5 years.
Oh my god. Yeah.
3 years, something like that.
And then that hard drive, if you can remember.
That's probably 7 years, maybe. It's an old one.
Okay. That kind of helps us narrow things down.
Right.
So what?
I don't think there's any others in there. I mean, honestly, I can't remember. I might have an old, phone laying around or something somewhere.
In the RV
Who
or in the
knows?
office?
I know there's an old phone in the back of this Honda, but we found it in the car. It's not like we missed the car.
What about any other type of, and now when we talk about electronics, I know a lot of people often just jump to cell phones, tablets, laptops, things of that nature, but also electronic devices that store thumb drives.
So there's probably more than one thumb drive in there. I don't know how many in the office.
You pointing at this one on
in
the right?
the office on the right. There's also two cameras in there. Both of those have the ability to record, I think, on them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if any of them actually have any SD cards or anything in them. I don't know.
Right. And those thumb drives, are those yours? Are they your coworkers? Or
I don't know. I don't actually know because I don't think I have it.
By the way, for those of you who want to try and commit crimes like this, even if you delete shit on your devices, as somebody speaking who has worked in the IT industry for over 20 years, they can recover that. They can recover that from your hard drive. It doesn't go away right away. It doesn't get rewritten over immediately. Okay? And it can be recovered. So don't be dumbasses. Don't fucking commit crimes. Because it can be recovered.
There might be one in that laptop bag as well. But they would all be I mean, if they're here, they're here. I don't know. We find stuff in cars all the time.
oh, I can imagine.
Yeah. I mean, we find when he's cleaning underneath the seats, he'll find money. I mean,
You name it. Huh?
yeah, pretty much
Right.
everything. I don't want to say everything we find, but
So that's more of a lost and found of thumb drives that's in the office right now.
right.
But then the one
we may have wiped some of them and used them because we do car photos mostly is what we're doing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Building
So-
rapport.
And I know Agent Acock had kind of alluded to the fact that what we do, we're part of a specialized task force, and that task force is called the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force.
Yep.
Based on an ongoing investigation, we were able to directly connect, actually one of our task force affiliates in the Eastern District was able to directly connect to a certain IP address that was participating in the uploading and sharing of known videos and images of child pornography.
Okay.
That information was then sent to us because the IP geolocated back into the Western District, somewhere in Northwest Arkansas.
So it was transmitting or receiving.
At this point, probably best that you just listen, okay?
Okay.
We were able to get from this IP address one specific video of child pornography and one folder containing approximately 65 images of child pornography from a specific IP address. We then, once that information was turned over to us, because of the fact that it was geolocated in Northwest Arkansas, we served a federal summons for that IP address. That IP address came back to Ozarks Go
Okay.
with a subscriber of
Yep.
Joshua
my name.
Duggar with cell phone, I'm assuming that's personal
Yep.
cell phone, with that email address that you just mentioned.
Yep.
Now it came back to a P.O. box.
Yep.
Right, so they already have the warrant. You dumbass. They already have the warrant.
We kind of briefly talked about this when we got on scene. So their service address from
Right.
Ozarks Go has you at
Right.
this lady's house down the street.
Well, that's where it is. Okay.
That's where it is, because Washington County property records have not updated
Right.
or separated your land from this lot.
Right.
So your actual physical address, which we had to find out, and Ozarks Go does not have, they've corrected now because this poor lady keeps getting your mail, as to what it is right now.
Okay.
Based on all that information, we were able to determine that this was the business where downloads of child pornography had occurred.
Okay.
It came from, or it occurred on 2 separate dates, which are believed to be approximately May 14th and May 15th of 2019 through a uTorrent software. And that's why I was asking you earlier to make sure we understood or we're on the same page with what TOR is, Tor, and what torrent is. And everything, again, was at the late night hours, let's say roughly between, from what we can guesstimate, between 10 and 11.
Okay.
So based on all that information, a federal search warrant was obtained for the property and everything on it, to include the RVs, office, and vehicles, to find out or look for electronic devices that possibly were responsible for those downloads or uploads of child pornography.
Okay.
That's what's gotten us here today. And that's why you can see some of our questions were tailored around electronics, who has access, who has ownership, knowledge of certain softwares and forensic or peer-to-peer groups. And, you know, at this stage, all we're trying to do, and I'll tell you this, I didn't know much about you leading up to this until I did, you know, some research in the last 2 weeks. Man to man, I don't know how you do it. It is amazing to me what the media is putting you through on a daily basis. All because of stuff which would be considered speculation by most parts.
Oh, come on.
We don't want to speculate. That's why we came here. We tried to be as courteous as possible and have a one-on-one or a conversation to figure out who's doing this on this lot, because these are not actors and actresses that are in these videos and images that we know came from here. Okay? These are somebody's little boy, little girl. At the end of the day, that's our main objective, is to find out who's doing it so that we can, or what electronic devices is being done on, so we can get those devices and take these images back off the internet so that these kids aren't re-victimized.
So they're being, I guess I have quite a few questions about it, but I don't know, you know, how much you can divulge, but I'm curious, you're saying there's images being uploaded or images being downloaded?
That the IP address from this lot had child pornography associated to it in a peer-to-peer software program. And our task force affiliate was able to download those that...
You know what? Look, if you're that dumbass that you're going to view child pornography on any of your devices, which is fucking crazy. Like, I can't even imagine how anybody thinks they're gonna get away with this bullshit. And you're smart enough to configure your own router, but you're trying to play dumb to the FBI, right? I think this is the FBI at this point, that this is like the Internet Crimes Division. So it's not like these people don't know how IT works. What a fucking idiot. So, dude, you're caught. You know you're caught. So stop playing dumb, because you literally just told them that you configured your own router. You fucking knew what you did.
Video and images from the folder of the IP address.
Okay,
oh my
gotcha.
God.
Well, that's one of the things too, and I know Agent Hickok had also spoke about this briefly. Those individuals you see walking around, you know, we didn't just decide to wake up this morning and come here. So we did our homework, and we've been doing this for almost a decade.
Being real, I've worked in IT for over 20 years, and whenever I need to configure my router, I have to fucking call the help support line. I don't even know how to do that bullshit. And I've been selling IT products since 98, you guys. Like, I can't. This guy trying to lie about, oh, I didn't know. I don't know. It might have been one of the guys on site that did this. I know I've been accused of this before, but can't even. Like, seriously, I actually have to call Cox IT support to fix problems with my home network, because despite the fact that I am very aware of these like IT products, I don't know the ins and outs of actually configuring them. And so it's hilarious that this guy's like, yeah, I configured my router, and no, I don't know what you're talking about. No clue.
Now, we're pretty good at what we do.
I appreciate the work you guys do.
Thank you. But
Yeah.
these forensic guys are some of the best in the country.
That's
What
great.
they do is they take electronic devices and they, through third-party software, or through certain forensic software, without altering or deleting anything that's on those electronic devices, can go in and see a digital fingerprint of anything and everything that's ever happened. So if there's an electronic device, and that's why we're trying to get ahead of the game, if there's an electronic device that possibly might have this video or images or anything associated like that that's on it, we'd like to know now, because once we leave here today, it's kind of the end of our conversation and we wrap everything up, and then we don't have anything else to go on other than, no, I don't know anything about it. And then we see it and it's like, okay, well, we had an opportunity to talk about that.
Right.
Why wasn't it addressed then?
Right.
You see what I'm getting at?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But as long as you're confident that there's no, or at least,
Because I don't want to be. I've watched my friends, answer things, and they get them for conspiracy or for something, and I'm not. I know.
They already have a warrant. They literally already have what they need, based on like just watching it. I don't know what's coming up, right? We got about 15 minutes left of this, about 17 minutes left of this. I don't know what's coming up. But if they already have a warrant, they have substantial evidence against this guy, right? I'm so glad I never fucking watched this show. I feel bad for those of you who actually watched this show and apparently, like, thought he was a cool dude or something, but obviously he's not. He was molesting his sisters. He's into child porn. This is some freaky shit, you guys.
Federal statutes are broad, and there's a lot of things to it, and I'm not going to say anything that's going to
we don't
incriminate me or anything at all. I don't want to. I'm not I'm not denying guilt, and I'm not saying that I'm, as far as anything goes, I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I'm not denying guilt, and I don't want to say the wrong thing. In instances where a person has been falsely accused, you usually find said person emphatically denying guilt throughout the questioning process. If any speculation or accusation is even implied to be turning their way, even subtly, their usual response is offense and to demand clarification. However, Josh outright states he is not denying guilt, which, along with his question of if someone had been downloading child pornography there, would immediately alert the officers to his guilt.
At the end of the day, you need to protect yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to say that I'm guilty or not. I'm just not saying, on accessing inappropriate content at some point, at any point in my life.
We are trying to figure out what led us to this business.
Okay.
That's going to involve stuff that's been either uploaded or downloaded onto the internet. And I know Agent Acock had mentioned just now a while ago about uTorrent files. Well, we'll play this out question by question. Yeah. You tell me what you feel comfortable with. Do you know or do you remember Napster back in the day? Napster was a file sharing program where millions of users throughout the world could get online and download music files. So if I had an entire album of, say, Garth Brooks, I could upload it into Napster.
I mean, I'm familiar. It was probably a little before my time, but yeah.
I'm showing my age.
Familiar with it.
Come on.
But that's
31.
Yeah, well, I'm 41, so you got me. But that was what was called a peer-to-peer file sharing network. And now it's evolved. Over the years, it's turned into where these particular programs not only share music files, but they share video files, software programs, documents, you name it. Are you familiar with, or do you know anything?
Yeah, seriously. I had an ex-boyfriend put a Tor program onto my phone so that we could watch Game of Thrones. And I realized pretty quickly that it was such bullshit that somehow my phone was being hacked as a result of having that program on my phone. And so I ended up wiping the phone 3 times trying to get rid of the bullshit he put onto my phone. And ultimately, I just got a new phone because I didn't know what he did to it. And he apparently somehow had control of my phone at that point. And so yeah, this guy's full of shit. He knows what he's talking about. Never date anybody who actually works in an IT department, dudes, because or with chicks, dudes, whatever. Like, don't date IT people because they fucking know shit. They know how to hack your devices. Don't let it happen.
About peer-to-peer file sharing networks.
I mean, I'm familiar with, I guess you could say.
Okay. Have you ever used or do any of these electronics currently on the property have any of those types of software downloaded onto them?
Yes.
Okay. Which devices are we talking about?
Probably all of them.
All. So, and I just want to make sure, again, we're not here to put words in your mouth. So when you say all, and I'm thinking,
Well, okay, I won't want to say all because I'm going to say the laptop, the phone, and the computer in the office.
okay, so laptop in the RV.
Yes.
Okay. The phone. Your
I
phone.
believe, to the best of my knowledge.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Again,
I don't know if they actually all have them.
we're not here to pin you in a corner
Right.
on any of your answers.
Right.
The laptop that's possibly on the laptop in the RV.
Right.
Possibly on the phone that you had on you, right? Your phone,
Right.
not Randall's.
Right.
And then
I don't know about Randall's.
Well, yeah, we're gonna
Yep.
have a conversation very similar to what we were having with you when we're done. If he wants to talk to us, and then possibly peer-to-peer networks on the HP that's in the.
Yes.
Okay. And I guess that's what Agent Acock was kind of getting to.
Like a Tor browser or a Tor. We upload stuff for our cars and things like that. I've had a friend of mine that came and set up with.
Hold up, this dude is definitely far more versed in technology than he's letting on. Okay. Let's see what happens here. We got about 8 more minutes.
File sharing, so we could do, more encrypted type stuff. He just said it's safer that way. He got me onto it to be safer.
I want to make sure that we're clear. When you say Tor, my definition, there's kind of
I actually don't know the definition, so I don't really want to.
The TOR stands for the Onion Router, which is basically the dark web and the deep web.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard of the dark web.
I've heard people talk about it.
Right, but then there's torrent. So 2 different things.
Right?
Okay.
Peer-to-peer,
So
that falls
what
into
are you-
torrent files. So you have peer-to-peer files, which is software that you can download and you can exchange files with users all over the world. Tor, T-O-R, standing for the Onion Router, is the dark web. That's a program that's where you can surf the internet anonymously and get on all these different sites. So do you know?
I don't know which. I don't know. He said Tor, so I don't really know which one.
That's fine. I just want to make sure I'm not, when you say Tor, I'm not thinking dark web, and while you're thinking peer-to-peer or vice versa.
No, I don't. So you're saying what? So are you saying what? I guess I'm still confused.
In terms of the
Because
peer-to-peer,
he said you can download. I don't actually know. So I guess I better not,
Okay.
not say if I don't understand.
and I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but I'm assuming because you said that they have peer-to-peer programs on these devices, that he was talking about torrent files, not T-O-R. Torrent, T-O-R-R-E-N-T.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, and based on this dude's information, like, I don't even know what was on my phone now. Like, literally, I didn't realize those were. I thought Tor was short for torrent as well. So I'm a little confused what my ex-boyfriend put on my phone at this point, because I know he was able to hack it. I know he was able to gain access and control to my phone. And I had to wipe it 3 times and it was still there. It was still there. I ended up having to buy a new phone. So I'm a little confused too, based on what he's saying here. But this other dude, he's saying that he had the kind of IT intelligence that he was able to actually configure his own router without assistance. Without assistance? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just... I mean, like, I worked in the tech industry for 20 years. I could not configure my own router, and I even had, like, a Cisco award. I had a Cisco award for understanding networking, you guys. I still couldn't configure my own router.
opposed to TOR. And there is a difference there.
So are you saying that? Is your question pertaining to which one?
I was just making sure that you and I were on the same page as to what you're talking. But I don't think you're seeing the difference.
I don't see any
between
difference
TOR. Okay.
as far as I mean, I don't know.
So your friend said that there's potentially on these devices.
Well, no. I have knowledge that there is something that says Tor on there,
Okay.
at least on one of them.
Gotcha.
And
All right.
and that has been. I'm just saying that was at his recommendation that I use those.
Why?
And so and I don't know at what point.
Let's leave it at that
Right.
based on your description of it.
The interviewers keep cutting Josh off while he is about to give damning statements and don't utilize the situation to their advantage. In this instance, it would be better for him to expand on his thoughts, but they continue to cut him off instead of letting him incriminate himself. Silence is usually an interrogator's best friend, as it leads to their subjects feeling uncomfortable and feeling the need to express their thoughts.
And what would you
you're
say
right.
the usage of...
He's right. The narrator's right, because like basically what they're doing right now is demonstrating that they have superior intelligence in IT, right? And so I don't know, maybe they're trying to go like trying to emotionally rattle him by being like, we don't buy your bullshit, so why don't you just tell us what's really up? I don't know what their strategy is here, but the narrator makes a good point that if you just let him fucking go, he'll probably implicate himself because he's so stupid, obviously. And I don't know that it's necessary to demonstrate your superior intelligence in this moment when obviously you have it, right? Let's see how this goes.
of the tour?
I don't recall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it more for the business or is it personal? And look, I promise you, we're not,
most. Okay, so I can't.
we're not here
I can't speak to that because I mean you have my laptop, you have my phone, so it's probably split, down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
The office computer, probably the same thing.
All right. And I don't want you to think that we're here because
No, and
somebody's downloading music. We wouldn't.
So what are you here for then?
That's what we're getting at. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, here
I
we
mean,
go.
somebody communicating.
We do a lot of things with Homeland Security
Right.
investigation. We enforce over like 400 different federal statutes.
Okay.
Immigration, narcotics, gangs.
Yep.
And part of the other stuff we do is child exploitation. So
Wow! Did you all know that? Did you know DHS is involved in that too? Look, I'm very confused about like how many new departments were formed during the Patriot Act, right? Child exploitation. Okay, that wasn't something like when I was working in biometrics. That was not exactly something that came up. It was mainly just general crime, like terrorism was the big one, right? Making sure we didn't allow terrorists to come into the country through our systems. But I didn't realize this was, well, I should have though. I should have put two and two together, but that just didn't come up for me when I was working in that field.
we kind of work with saving kids, essentially.
Yeah.
A lot of times we'll find through internet tips that people have, downloaded child pornography,
Okay.
stuff like that. And
So is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying is going on?
well, so what we're saying is there is a possibility that there are pieces to this puzzle where we might be able to help save children.
Right.
Okay. And that's what we're trying to do.
Okay.
All right.
So what is the? I guess what is the scope is what I've been trying to say. Like, is there something going on my devices where that's been something's accessed or
man.
something's downloaded or uploaded or something like that?
That's what led us here. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're trying to do is
Not surprised.
hopefully find out exactly what happened so we can try to use that information to put some pieces of the puzzle together to help save.
Does it include? So did it mark this IP address? Is that basically what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So does it, so I guess in the scope of your investigation, is there going to be, I guess, I mean, you'll narrow it down. You'll be able to figure out probably which device or which thing, or at least know if it's any of these devices that are here.
Well, that's what you see all these other guys running around doing. There are computer forensic analysts. So, like, even if something's on a computer that someone might have downloaded and then deleted.
Oh my god, he's acting like fucking ignorant, and he's got an entire SWAT team all over his fucking business right now. He's got an entire fucking SWAT team pulling all of his devices. He's like, what are you talking about? Oh, I hope this guy got a lot of fucking years in jail. I hope this guy is done, dude.
They're going to be able to find it, you know.
Yeah,
they've been doing that. That's what they do, you know.
Yep.
So, you know, with that being said, we're just trying to get to the bottom of exactly.
No, well, that helps me a lot to understand what you're here for. So I understand that. I respect that. That's good.
Right.
So what other? I guess, you know, they'll do their work and figure out what they can find. So.
Has there been anything, let's say, within the last 5 to 6 months between yourself or any of your employees or any other associates that have been on this property that has raised a red flag as to why that search warrant or federal search warrant might have been signed?
Not at all.
Why we're here. Nothing that might have been accidentally or intentionally downloaded or uploaded from any of these networks or software programs that we've talked about?
And not that I know of.
Oh, okay. Really? The trial.
The trial lasted for 7 days, with the prosecution putting expert witness after expert witness on the stand to illuminate how it was impossible for anyone else to have been the person to be downloading the child porn onto the laptop. Two of Josh's old friends testified of Josh being interested in the Linux system, specifically as it pertained to bypassing Covenant Eyes. The only other employee at the used car lot was questioned and didn't know the password to the Linux system, which was a password Josh had used on other devices, and every time that the porn had been downloaded, Josh had been the only person in the office. The defense fought back, trying to argue that it wasn't Josh who had done this, rather some anonymous hacker who was trying to make Josh look bad. They claimed that Josh himself wasn't smart enough to have done all of this, and certainly wasn't smart enough to figure out the dark web. He was homeschooled.
Oh, but he configured his own router. Okay.
After all. They also tried to argue that since his cell phone and his personal laptop didn't contain porn, that obviously showed his innocence. Their closing arguments framed the case as a classic whodunit, despite the insurmountable evidence showing Josh did. The jury took less than a day to come to a verdict. Guilty.
Thank you.
Josh Duggar had been allowed to do whatever he wanted his entire life. When he was 14, he molested his sisters and got away with it. When he was an adult, he walked away from 3 major sex scandals nearly scot-free, with his family's support and continued help. And as an adult, he assumed that he would be able to get away with everything. But by the grace of God, he wasn't able to. There is no proper way to end this. The Duggars allowed their son to assault their children. The church elders took part in hiding this. And while justice was gained in this one case, it is worrisome that Jim Bob once said that plenty of other families had the same things happen to them, and it was no big deal. Thank you for watching this episode of Dreading. If you like this video...
Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. I swear to God that I think that that family that was renting 2 units in here was doing the same sort of bullshit to their own kids. I can't go on record for that. I have no proof of it other than watching how bizarre their children's behavior was. Watching how bizarre it was that they manipulated their neighbors, watching them throw their kids into the pool in a really weird 6 to 7 feet up, you guys. I got video of this. And it was scary because the pool's only 5 feet deep, y'all. It's only 5 feet deep.